Well, hey there, everybody. Mike Maxwell here, and I wanted to bring you up to a place called High Knob in the World's End State Park in Pennsylvania. And this place is beautiful. It's an overlook right here. It looks off to the left. You can see mostly the south and the west. It looks off to the west. And I wanted to show you, last night I was here and I shot the Milky Way. It was a really clear night, opposite of what it is now. It's not supposed to be clear anymore, but about midnight, and there was, it's only half moon, so the moon didn't come up till after midnight anyway. So it was clear. The Milky Way was right that direction. And there was also a meteor shower last night, so it was kind of cool. There were some people over here. I was very surprised. But anyway, I wanted to show you guys what I'm using and how I use it. I know I've done videos in the past already, but I figured I would give you an overview of exactly what I'm doing. So I have a tripod, and it twists to open. It's pretty sturdy. This one is called a Celestron. I'm not sure. Celestron photographic tripod, that's all it says. But anyway, it goes this way. It also goes this way. So yeah, this is a really good tripod. And when I set my camera up on here, I set foreground and everything else. And then I also set the level, which is really nice. And it's heavy. It's really heavy duty. I really like this tripod. And in the bag, I'm going to show you what I got in my bag. Let's start here first. So I've always got batteries, and I've got other batteries. I've got AAA or double A's. I've got triple A's. I got some 9 volts. Never have enough batteries. And then the camera. Now I don't use the long lens. I'm going to show you what I do. Take the lens off. This is the only wide angle lens that I have. This is my 24 to 105 f4, and this is my 5D Mark III. And it's getting old, but this is what I use. This is my setup right here. Of course, I'm gonna put it on there, tighten it up. Always set to manual. Turn off the stabilizer. Set your camera to manual so you could set everything up. Nothing moves. You've got complete control of the camera. My typical usual settings: ISO 6400, f4, and my shutter speed is typically around 15 seconds. And then I'm going to set up. Yesterday there were people all over, so I had to set up over here, which was fine because the Milky Way was that way, so it was perfect for me. Everybody else was up looking up at like Andromeda area because they were watching the meteor shower. There's actually some pretty cool shooting stars, meteorites. So let's go over here. I'm going to show you exactly what I did and then how I light painted and how I set up my foreground. All right, so I set my camera up with basically this foreground in mind, and there's really no foreground out here. It's just this drop off and a couple trees and just hills, but you couldn't even see it anyway because it was just, I mean, this is a very, very dark area. This is like black, not really black, I think it's blue, darkness on the light pollution scale. This is one of the darkest places. The only other place that's a little bit darker than this, which actually has the same scale, but it's just on a bigger range, is Cherry Springs, which is northwest of here. And eventually I'll go out that way. But anyway, this is my setup here. And I saw this railing here, and I said, well, this is probably the best I'm going to get for some foreground. And it gives you context because as you look at the sky and then you light paint this foreground with a little bit of grass, it allows you to be there with the photographer. And that's what you want. And so I set this thing up with this in mind. And this is where I sat up. And the Milky Way is just directly overhead like that. Southwest, that's west over there. And of course I always put this on because it saves you from the dew. The moisture in the air could hit this. Any maybe ambient light, whatever it may be. In this aspect here, it's wide didn't really work too well until I moved back farther. But I wanted to get a little bit closer here and get a better shot up. So of course I shot it up like this. And then I checked out my level on my camera and I leveled it off. And then of course the settings, at first I went with my sky shots, and my sky shots I would always set this to infinity, and I could see where infinity is on this. You may not have that ability to see where infinity is, so look for a distant light or maybe the bright star. Like right now, Jupiter's up there, it's really bright, and you should be able to use the viewfinder and focus on that. Once you're focused on that, you're infinity. It's obvious. Take my sky shots, about 20 sky shots, however many it was, and I'm going to stack them for noise reduction, because I'm at 6400 ISO. You're going to have a lot of noise, and then when I bring it into my foreground, I'm going to drop it down to like 200 ISO, which has very little noise, and of course I'm going to stack those together using Photoshop. Not really stacking on top of each other, but just using the light frames and all that. So after I did my sky frames, then I refocused to my to the foreground, and I would use the viewfinder, and I would put the light on the foreground where I wanted to focus, and then I would focus it using my light on it, and you'd be able to see it. And then I shot at, we're at ISO 200 f8 6 seconds. And for the farther away shots, I would actually bring it up to about 10 seconds just so I can go farther away and still hit it. And I never shot directly from behind the camera at my foreground. I would either shoot from over here, and I would get the light way back over here so I can get some light that way. And then I would come over to this side and I would shoot directly over there, right at it. But I would never shoot directly here unless I'm just getting my focus or to see what it looks like. Because this shot, it's too plain. It's kind of boring. I mean, it works if you're in a bind, but so then I grabbed my wife and she and I went right in front. Of course, the one thing I forgot to tell you guys, because I always use it no matter what, is a shutter release. One of the worst things that you're doing if you don't have a shutter release and you're not using a timer is you're using the trigger right up here, and you're going to hit it, and you could very easily get a little bit of blur or a little bit of movement in that shot, and you're doing long exposure, so everything is moving. So yeah, use your shutter release, guys. Get one of these. Amazon, they're only like $5, maybe $10 at the most. I mean, it's a cheap one. You don't need to get the real expensive ones. If you're doing a time lapse and you want to get an intervalometer, get one. But this is just a cheap one. It was like $5. And I actually have to get a new one. You can see I got it taped up because the thing inside here is messing up. But anyway, it hooks up to here. I've got this set up. I push the button, and I push it up here on hold so it'll continually shoot. And I take my flashlight and I'll shoot over here like this. I'll come over here from behind the camera, shoot that way. Then I grab my wife, and I grab one of my kids was here with us, and here's what I did. Guys, this light is awesome. Now, it's not a TTL, but that's fine. It doesn't need to be. If you have an extra light stand or an extra stand, anything, hook this up. Amazon, These things are all Amazon switches, right? So this is nice. This is a Cowboy Studio 4-channel. Anyway, it's an off-camera flash. You don't put this on the camera because that means it's going to be direct. So you don't do that. So what you do is you're going to hook this up to the receiver, right? You turn it on, you test, you figure out which settings you want. ISO 200, you just play with it, you figure it out. I think I was like F10. I'll write it in what I was actually at. I think it was F10, and I had it at 2 seconds. It was a 2-second shutter. This right here is going to stop your motion. So even if you moved around a little bit, as long as you got this close enough to you, it's going to make you bright enough you won't see anything anyway. And then, of course, I kept this in my hand, and my wife and I came right over here, and we sat right here. My daughter held the light right here, about this close. And I had this thing on high as, you know, the crazy high. And then I would put the little diffuser thing on there, so it's not direct light, but it would kind of diffuse it a little bit. And my son was holding the trigger, so my son triggered it. I would count 1, 2, and then I would hit this button and the trigger would flash, and my wife and I would be in the photo, boom, like that. And that's it, and that's how it works. It's that simple to do quick little selfies. You could do it yourself. You can put the timer on, 10-second timer, click the button, walk over here, have it set up, boom. Once you see it, it goes to click, 2 seconds, 1, 2, click, and you're set. That's all it takes. So that's it, guys. That's how easy it was to shoot the Milky Way here in the darkest place on the Northeast, besides a lot of other places. Okay, the darkest place in Northeast Pennsylvania besides Cherry Springs. We're at High Knob, the High Knob Lookout at World's End State Park. So that's it. It's very simple to shoot the Milky Way. All right. If I'm missing something, guys, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you want to find out. I tend to leave stuff out because I shoot everything right off the fly. I don't like to write things down because then I really screw up and I start going, doesn't work for me. So, get out there, shoot the Milky Way, either in light pollution or not light pollution. Doesn't matter. You can still, if you could barely see the Milky Way up above you, you can get it. Sequator is a free program. Get out there, go shoot, get the Milky Way. That's it. Like, subscribe, you know the deal. Talk to you later.